you everybody. Just to speak about the difference of the two projects there, we actually had an offer of financing on this project around the time the application was put in for Startup Bootcamp, so we were unable to put this forward, but we decided not to go for the funding at the time, or since. Anyway, Skynet Labs creates software solutions for the oil and gas industry, specifically for exploration and development engineers. To tell you a little bit about my story, in 2009 I started a now successful software development company specializing in mobile app development. Some of our clients are Dubai Airport, Dundrum Shopping Centre, iCabby, and then Fusio would be a large customer of ours. We do a lot of their development for them. Entertainment.ie, people like that. So one day, I was picking my dad up from the airport. My dad is a senior drilling supervisor that works with BP, Shell, Dana Petroleum, Egypt, Petro Canada. And I picked him up from the airport one day and I said, you know, how did it go? And he said, well, not very good this time. We had downtime for 2 days. And I said, well, what happened? And he said, well, one of the mud engineers made a miscalculation. I said, well, you know, how much did that cost? And he said, oh, about $6 million. So that got me thinking about the software that these guys use in their day-to-day processes to calculate basically a lot of data on how to solve problems in their dynamic situations. So I kind of dug into it a little bit more, and now I'll kind of get really into it with the team. So the team we have in place, this guy on the top left, which is me. There's my dad, he's our chief industry consultant. There's Mark Vandenberg, who is another senior drilling consultant, and he currently sells other types of software to these companies. And there's Eoghan O'Sullivan, who's an operations manager in Mercury Girl. Hannah, who's our UIX designer. And then our lead programmer, Sean Bulger, he's our wonder kid. He actually won the Microsoft Startup, or the Microsoft Innovation Program with the Windows app last year. So the problems. We've really spent a good amount of time analyzing the process that's going on in the field with drilling. And that allows us to then identify what problems there are and what solutions we can offer. As an overview, drilling engineers and drilling supervisors actually use really scarily basic tools to make their dynamic calculations. 20% of their day is reporting, 10% is paper-based calculations. Mistakes cost lives and cost a lot of money. Rental days on rigs range from 3 million to 50 million a day. They also need to share this data back to headquarters. It doesn't always happen in a cloud environment, so it can be delayed. Here's a typical issue of trying to control a pressure kickback from a well. So as you can read here, this is taken from I think it's the American Institute for Drilling. So this is something that happened in the Gulf of Mexico. Basically, they got a pressure kickback. They weren't able to contain it, and this would have cost them in the region of $15 million as they had to shut down operations, evacuate the rig. The current industry models, as I've said, is quite analog, using calculators, Excel sheets, paper-based solutions. Our solution is to create these very simple tools, bring them into a nice designed environment, make them device agnostic, link them into the cloud. None of the computation is actually taking place in the cloud, it's taking place on the box, on the device, in the situation. We send it to the cloud, it gets shared back with headquarters where they make the big decisions and they have big money to spend. Here's just an example of some of the incidents in this area. 38% human error, well 38% of all the incidents are caused by human error, 36% by equipment failure. You also have an increasing growth rate of incidences here from 95 to 2000. It's quite old data, but it shows an increase in incidents on the rigs. And for example, the Gulf of Mexico last summer, daily cleanup cost $6 million. Cost to replace the rig that went down, 700 million. So the incidences we're trying to solve, well, the problems we're trying to solve are very expensive when it goes wrong. Here's just a funny thing I found in my research. This guy pressed the wrong button and 2,400 barrels leaked into the Gulf of Mexico. I said the fact that the engineer was not wearing his prescription glasses at the time was a contributing factor.